it's lovely to welcome everybody to another Riversiders meeting. Could I just ask you first of all to check, is your mobile either switched off or on silent? I've done mine to avoid you all jumping around and saying, well, there we go. Now, can I also ask you, if you've got friends who are members and you know they've not rejoined, could you just give them a quick nudge? And then we can get all the renewals in as soon as possible. Because don't forget, they're actually missing out on 12.5% discount, which is far better than the 10% for a season ticket holder. Tonight we will be drawing for the next Cherry and White Lounge, and of course your magic number won't be in my box unless you've rejoined. The membership badges for this year, which as you know got delayed with the Chinese New Year, if you haven't by any chance picked yours up, I've got some with me as usual. And for those of you who attend the fan village, please look out now for our table, because we're now holding a raffle there, as well as in the South Stand Bar. Like the South Stand Bar, the raffle will be drawn after the match by the players. Keep your eyes open on social media for results and keep your ticket, because then when you visit the next home game we can give you a prize. Now I've just been handed details from Ron about our next Federation weekend. So the Lancashire Federation annual dinner, later than normal, it's going to be on the weekend of the 2nd to the 4th of February 2024. And it will be back at its normal home at the Doric. And it's going to be Friday and Saturday, £134 per person. If you want to go all inclusive, it will be £156 for the Friday and Saturday. Saturday only £76, and Saturday only all inclusive £85, and the meal only on the Saturday would be £27. Okay, and just a reminder, if you post photos and details of our meetings on Facebook, it really helps recruit new members. And of course we have members who live in places in Cumbria, Wakefield, all over, Cambridge, so they all like to see what's going on, because obviously you can't expect them to nip up here every month. So if you've not done any posting, please start. And I don't know if you've looked on our websites recently, but we've now got video clips of the meetings, which again are there for people who live a long way, so you can get a taste of what goes on. The hits on the website, since we've put the clips on, are like 179% up. Thank you very much, Andrew. But we need now to convert those hits to members, so let's keep banging the drum. A special date for you, we've got a race day coming up, as you know, for Sam Powell. That's the 13th of May. It will be in here in the 18th Century Lounge, and it will start at 2 o'clock. He's very kindly offered, because I had his hand up as well, to bring something special for an auction on the day, so make sure you've got money as well as your cards. And then the horses, you can actually start to reserve your horse, £5 for an owner. If you've not got money with you tonight, we'll take your name and number, and you can pay on Friday in the bar. So that's it from me. Cherry and White draw later, that'll be for the Wakefield game, the 23rd of April, and the next Riversiders meeting, Wednesday the 3rd of May. Okay.
Evening, everybody. Who's ready for the derby? No? Right, so we'll get the guests up for you this evening. Born in Billinge, our first guest started playing rugby league at the tender age of 5 for Wigan St Pat's, where he went on to win a National Cup final. He's also tried his hand at rugby union, winning a number of cups at school level. He represented England's under-16s and also spent 2 years at Sale Sharks Academy. He made his Warriors first team debut against Huddersfield Giants in May 2022. He's no stranger to success after playing a pivotal role in the reserves grand final victory last season, scoring the final try in the 40-12 win over Wakefield. Please welcome Riversiders sponsored player, heritage number 1117, Logan Astley. Our final guest this evening is known as much for his toughness as he is for his talent. He had an illustrious playing career with the Warriors that spanned 12 years. He made his NRL debut for the New Zealand Warriors in May 2003 in a game that saw him become the youngest player to ever play for the club. He made his international debut for New Zealand also in 2003, aged 18, making his final appearance for the Kiwis in 2022. He joined Wigan ahead of the 2007 season, and he went on to make 327 appearances in Cherry and White. His resume includes 3 League Leaders Shields, 2 Super Leagues, 2 Challenge Cups, a World Club Challenge, a Harris Sunderland Trophy, a 4 Nations and a World Cup. One of the toughest players to ever grace the field. His very presence in the defensive line was enough to strike fear into the opposition. We've almost felt sorry for the many opposition players who have felt the full force of his concrete shoulders. He hung up his boots at the end of the 2022 season to take on a coaching role. Put your hands together for assistant coach, heritage number 997, Thomas Lulawai.
Thank you, Jenny. I've come a bit further away now as I've heard about your concrete shoulders and everything like that. There you go, Logan. I said it doesn't do to have size 13 feet on here, does it? Is that why you're hanging them over, Tommy? Right, well, I was going to start tonight by asking for a little progress report from yourself, Logan, as to how you came to be involved in rugby league, but it seems like Dale's done it all in the introduction. So I'll just say, is there anything that you want to add to that?
No.
Well, there's just one little aspect, I don't know whether Gail mentioned or not, but you've enjoyed life in rugby union as well as a youngster, haven't you?
Yeah, I started playing at Wigan Rugby Union at the same time as I started playing rugby league, so I've always played both and enjoyed both, but I came to make a decision whether it was Wigan or Sale, but I ended up choosing Wigan.
Well, that's a sensible lad. But going back to rugby union and rugby league, which did you find? Did you find that you took more of what you learned in rugby league to help you in rugby union, or more of what you learned in rugby union to help you in rugby league?
Definitely what I took from rugby league to union, definitely. It was a slower game, so it was much easier to, if you were fast players and skillful, to get outside of the teams. There's a lot of teams who could only play rugby union, they couldn't throw the ball out, so we found it quite easy. With all our teams, basically, lads from St Pat's and from Wigan, who all played rugby league as well.
Right, so I'll come to you on that one, Tommy. Is it because Wigan Rugby Union, their game's much slower, that you managed to score even after you'd retired?
Yeah, it was a slow yeah, I actually enjoyed it. It was, in essence, to help out with a few numbers, and me and Sol sort of hanging not far from there, so you know, a few people up there, we just went up to run around really. It got blown out of proportion a little bit. We were only supposed to play 20 minutes and ended up playing the whole game, so yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good club, some nice people up there, so yeah, I don't know if I'll be doing it anytime soon. I'm pretty busy in this coaching life, so there's not much time on the weekend, so yeah, we'll might get working.
Did you revel in all the plaudits? Because you seem to hit the headlines for that try.
No, I didn't. Locker sort of arranged it, and I just agreed. And then when it started coming out, it was too late to pull out. Really, it was to play. So yeah, it was good fun. It was just a bit of fun. A few people up there. Like I said, I just lived down the road, so we just walked up and had to go around.
I think it was nice because it's often that league and union can't talk to one another when evidently in Wigan we can.
Yeah, some nice people up there. There's a lot of boys watching. I think the guys up there quite a bit. I always see them up there. So no, it was good. There's some good lads. I know a few guys that play up there too. So yeah, it was a very slow game. I don't think I could have done it in the rugby league too. A little bit past it. I haven't done much training, so it was a nice slow game for us, and we enjoyed it.
And did you do any of your mighty tackles? And if you did you get any feedback to say that hurt?
No, I didn't. I didn't really want to run around trying too hard. I just sort of wanted to get through the game. To be honest, I hadn't played for a while, and I just wanted to get through the game. And they're nice guys, and they still work, and I wasn't going to go out there and try to be Tarzan. Just to throw the ball out and have a bit of fun.
Great stuff. So you mentioned how busy coaching life is keeping you. How are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I am. I'm enjoying the challenge. It's definitely a challenge. Obviously I've been around the game for a long time, but it's just a different way of the other side of the fence really from players. So I'm really enjoying it. It's challenging. You learn stuff every day. We've got a great bunch of boys here, great staff that are really got around me. So the players are the main thing now. So my job is just trying to get them ready as best I can so they can go out there and perform well.
Did it take a little while, from when one day you were with your mates and teammates and the next day you're with the boss of the park?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the boss. I suppose the way I look at it is I'm just trying to help them get ready. We've got a team of talented players and they all already sort of know what they need to do really. It's my job is just putting it all together and making sure that everyone's got a lot of clarity around what they're doing. I wouldn't say boss. I played with most of these guys last year, so I'm good friends with a lot of them, so I don't try and act like I'm telling them. It's more about me trying to ask for their opinions and put it all together for them, and that's the way I've been approaching it this year.
So on that point, Logan, a number 7 to a number 7, last year you had what was evidently the benefit of Lee Breers. This year you've got Tommy on the field, you're able to watch Harry in the moves there. How good is that for you as a number 7?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I could ask for anything better having Tommy and Harry and Lee last year. It's definitely helped me improve, and as Tommy, the way he coaches, I think suits everyone. Not ever forcing us to, just helping us along the way. It almost feels like he's still one of the players. The way he coaches, I think that works perfect for all the team.
Has he showed you how to do concrete shoulders yet?
I don't think I've got that in me.
So, coming back to you, Tommy, at the end of your playing career, how honoured did you feel when New Zealand gave you the captaincy for the game over at Leeds?
Yeah, I did feel honoured at the start. I didn't really want to do it, if I'm honest. I didn't want the fanfare sort of thing. I just wanted to sneak away. Malcolm Maguire rang me up and pretty much persuaded me to do it. So yeah, I did it. I'm glad he did do that because it was a cool event. Playing for New Zealand is such a special thing for guys from New Zealand. So to get the opportunity to play one last time and make that be my final game, just to be around that environment. I played with a number of guys in that team that played test matches. I'm pretty close to a few of them. And, it was just a special moment. I'm glad I changed my mind. But when he first ran me up to play, I was leaning towards it wasn't really my style or my thing, but I'm glad I did it because it was a special memory for me, but not for me, just also my family back home in New Zealand and my girls. It was good for them to see that.
And was it good, to link up again with Mike?
Yeah, it was. Imagine we just kept in contact the whole time. fantastic coach. I think everyone in the club would understand what he done and changed the club. I was here just before he got it, and when he took over and the change that he brought to the club is, I think it's still sort of running through the club now, really. The hard work mentality, and he changed it within 1 year, really. So one off season, and all of a sudden we're a different squad. We didn't have too many players, but he just put his stamp on it, really. And I've been friends with him ever since. Yeah, really close with him, and he was good looking over him. He's a little bit more laid back than he was when I first had him, so it was good seeing the other side of him.
You talk about Madge there, and I mean, I think not only was it a front runner with bringing back or sort of establishing standards that he expected here, but because of the fitness levels and the standards he imposed here, would you think that that's why other clubs have had to look at this over the years since we had Madge, so that they're doing a lot more on the training, harder pre-seasons, and just trying to get cultures similar to the one that Madge brought here?
Yeah, definitely. I think we would have been one of the first teams to go on the Army camp back then. Even our style of play, I think for years to come was the shape and that he brought in. He'd been at Melbourne for a number of years now, obviously very successful. All those things that he brought to us, I think a lot of teams sort of copied him from us. And that's the way the game goes, really. If the team's successful, everyone sort of takes on what they're doing, So we were all definitely, I suppose, a front runner on that. And, he brought in things that, I still see at the club that, I know that Madge sort of brought it in. To be honest, some of the calls are still the same for me. He brought it in, so it's quite funny, but he's done a fantastic job. He's a fantastic coach, and I think he really enjoyed his time in the town. I know he's still really close. He enjoyed when we come back here for the dinner. He really loved that. And, we went for a beer. I think the boys said one weekend, we had a weekend off, and I drove him back, and he's loved catching up with people. He really loves the club.
Great stuff. And I think he really sort of helped for players to realise how lucky they were to be able to play rugby league as a professional sport. Sort of had you going out there working your socks off on different events and that, so it just sort of made you appreciate what you had.
Yeah, I think Logan will back me up. They still do it to this day. You guys that come to the club have to spend a week, young boys have to spend a week working and training, and that's something he brought in. They still do it now. It's just for them to realise, I suppose, we're quite privileged, and you come out of school and everything's pretty much done for us. We get through here, all the training is sorted, we've got great facilities. But sometimes you've got to understand that it's not always that easy. There's a bit of hard work to go, so those will be able to explain a bit more about what goes on. But pretty much they work all day and then come in and they play. Suppose similar to what a person at a part-time rugby player will do. And just for them to understand that they're a privileged place, you've got to work hard. And like I said, Madge brought that in back in 2010, and they're still doing it now.
So Logan, in light of what's just been said, in the midst of a very, very long pre-season when you've really had to dig deep within yourself, would you agree that you're very privileged to be allowed to do that?
Yeah, definitely. Because, looking back, I never really enjoyed school, and when I came out of school I started playing and playing rugby in the academy, and that's when I realised I wanted to be a rugby player, definitely. Doing both all the time, and it makes you very, every time you play, you're very grateful for it. It makes you enjoy it.
So I asked Tommy about captaincy for New Zealand, but you captained the reserves last year, and we were unbeaten at home, and of course we won the grand final. How much pressure did you feel being captain of the team, and how good was it to lift that trophy?
I wouldn't say I feel as much pressure when I'm a captain. I don't really say much in the changing room before a game or try and pull anyone, but I just try and do it with my actions on the field, how I play. Just try and be the best on the field and hopefully pull the team through. And winning it last year was massive. That's the first trophy I won really for Wigan. because we didn't get a chance with the academy because of COVID. So, and to lift it myself was brilliant.
Brilliant. You touched on COVID there, and I'd like to know from both of you, the couple of years that sort of blighted rugby to a big degree, how did you cope with it? You first, Logan, because of course academy games weren't, reserves went. How did you cope with that?
It was a bit strange at first, but I think it came at a time when I was just about to come through. And when I came back, it was a bit strange. We were all on a running track all the time. We couldn't go in the changing rooms, and you had to do tests all the time. But I think I don't really know, but it was just a strange time, really.
Like you say, you were on sort of just coming into mainstream rugby here. But for the young lads, the ones that were academy level and academy just went, a lot of those players were lost. So did you pick up a lot on upset and disappointment from those players? I'm sure those tons of players who didn't quite make it because of COVID, that maybe if they carried on playing in that time, they would have got picked up. So unfortunately, I do think a lot of players dropped out of the game, and I think a lot of those younger lads were questioning whether what we were going to do after COVID. Definitely. And for yourself, Tommy, how weird was it playing behind closed doors, particularly, in cup rounds and things like that?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a strange time for us, but not just us, everyone really in the whole world. So I actually felt quite grateful that we could actually come in and still see each other and train, and we had to they could sit on the track 2 meters apart and we had to sit in the chair, but some people were in a lot worse situations to us, so I actually felt quite grateful that we could come in. It was good that we had to train in small groups and certain things, all these little things, but I just really felt grateful that we would be able to do that from other stuff that was going on in the world. So I didn't find it. I just felt grateful for the whole thing. But going back to what Logan mentioned about the younger boys, that's where I feel like it was really tough for them. The only way to really improve as a player is to play in games. You learn game management, so many things. You do so much on a training paddock, but you need to play actual games. So I really felt sorry for that group of boys that were coming through just at that time. It was a tough time for everyone, but for them not getting that development that they need for week in, week out games, really put a dent, I think, in not just our academy, but the whole sport really. So it was a tough time, but like I said, I actually felt grateful that we could just come in and hang around and have a laugh and we could sit 2 meters apart, but at least we've got something to do. Broke up from going for walks with the kids in the day for about 6 months. So they just broke it up, and I actually look forward to coming in and seeing everyone.
Do you think really this season's just seen us sort of at the academy level overcoming that, that we sort of got our act together, but it's taken quite a bit of time, not just for us, like you say, but for the whole of the league?
Yeah, I think we've done a really good job, I suppose. We've come out of it, I reckon, the best way we could. I think there's other clubs there that really struggled. I could imagine young players at that age were not playing on the weekend, coming in training and not playing for 2 years, and then I suppose that love for the games goes away and other things come up. So I think we've done all right. We've got a great academy, we've got some great players coming through, and it's because we've got a good rugby league team and supported well through the town that a lot of people want to come here and play. So we're very lucky in that sense.
Okay, Logan, so coming over to you and talking about being out there on the pitch and playing, you're going out to Oldham on loan again? Are you looking forward to that? I think it's for us younger boys, it's just playing as many games as we can, playing every game we can be a part of, with the reserves being every 2 weeks and having breaks in between. It's hard for us to get momentum, so obviously there's a lot of us out on loan at different clubs all over the place, but and this is a derby for them playing against Rochdale, so it's a big game for them, so it's definitely good to play. Do you think you'll feel you're at Wigan or at Oldham, because we've got so many youngsters out there, haven't we?
I think there's going to be 5 of us from Wigan who are playing, so. But it's always better that, because we all know how each other play, we can all play with each other, and I think they're grateful to have the lads from Wigan coming and helping them. They always are when we go, and it'll be an enjoyable game also.
How more intense and physical wise is it when you're playing in Championship as opposed to reserves?
Playing against men every week, you definitely feel it. Probably similar speed if anything, really. The game's not 100 mile an hour, but when you get whacked, you know about it, definitely. Sometimes, obviously, like in my position, luckily, if I'm not running with the people in the middle, but especially for younger lads, younger props, I can imagine it's quite tough.
So you say you get whacked quite a lot. Is this legal whacking or do you get some dirty tricks?
In the back all the time.
Okay. And coming over to you, Tommy, when the lads are out on loan, what's the process? Are they out on loan with that club for so many days of the week and come back here?
I think they're all on different, usually it's a couple of weeks, I suppose, and some people sign permanent ones where they can go for a month, some are willing to go, they decide to go for 2 weeks, and if they need it they can come back, so there's all different scenarios with them. But I think John Duffy does a great job. He controls all of that and watches all the games and tips us up on how they're going and sends us clips on who's played well and gives us a report each week. So we always keep tabs on all our boys out, and like Logan said, there's a lot of them out on their own playing. And for us, we want them playing. We never our squad playing and improving. I know some of them, doing a bit of travelling. And Harvey's in France at the moment. So. But it's all best for their development. And the main thing is they develop there and they can get game time, and hopefully when they're called for the first team, they're better prepared and more confident and obviously perform better.
Great stuff. So I'll come back to some things around that afterwards, but I think we'll sort of take a look at some of the games we've played since the last meeting, and I'll ask both of you your thoughts on the Catalan game.
Yeah, the Catalan game, not our best performance there. It was snowing, I remember that, and we just didn't perform well. It was a game that I suppose we learned a lot from. They're a really good team. Catalan will be there towards the end of the season, and definitely know that. But we took a lot of lessons from that. The weather conditions and how we played, and we can't get some really good players. And they most probably just played the conditions a lot better than us in that day. They performed really well. They kicked well, and it wasn't the most exciting game from memory, but when it's snowing and blizzard, it sort of has something to do with it.
Do you think there were quite a few spoiling tactics in there and slowing down in the title? The times wasting that went on?
Yeah, there was, and that's what I mean about they played the conditions well. They got a lot of experienced players that sort of, I suppose, manipulated how the game was played. And that's what I mean about learning. We got to learn how that teams are going to do that. Whether we've got a young, fit, fast team that we would prefer it to be dry. It's not always dry. Back in the year when you're playing in grand finals, it's not dry either. So I just feel like it was some good lessons for us, and hopefully we get that challenge again. And if it's a really good team in those conditions, we perform a little bit better.
So, what were your thoughts on the Catalan game as a viewer?
I thought, definitely it was snowing, the weather didn't help the game, and I think physically, we stood up to them, they're a big side, and the physical side. I think after the game, that's what we took a lot away from it. We learned a lot. I think sometimes early on in the season, it kind of does help having games like that and being able to learn and so on the run, and then in the back end of the year we can take that into them games.
Do you feel you say we learn a lot and it's useful at the back end of the year, but looking to the next two games, Huddersfield and Salford, they seem very tenacious and gritty matches, went behind in both games but did enough to secure the win. Do you think those will be very beneficial, what we learned in those matches?
Yeah, definitely. I think what you need to have sometimes is just being able to win the game no matter what, and I think in them two games for sure that, but as well, we did quite a lot of things, I think, as well, especially physically. Our running was very strong. I think we did all the basics well, and it's all coming together, and I think it showed in the last game. Like, when it clicks, it's pretty good.
So coming to you, Tommy, when we were behind in those 2 games, did you have the confidence to feel we were going to win?
I always had the confidence we're going to win. I always had that confidence, even in the Caroline's game. I thought we had a chance. But they were tough games. Like, Huddersfield will be there. They're there too. I think they're a really good team. I think from that Caroline's game into the next game, I think we improved a little bit. And that's what maybe just got us over the line. We maybe saying against Salford, we just improved a little bit more. I think there's a lot of good things that we're doing that we maintained. But I thought we sort of made small improvements in that game. And like Logan said, once it clicks with us, or once things start flowing, we know we can score points. But the biggest thing for me, and I know everyone talks about scoring points, but I think we're the best defensive team in the comp at the moment. So yes, we want to score points, we want to entertain. We've got some fantastic players that can do it French and Joe Fields that can really light up a stadium. But from experience, I know that if you want to win trophies, you have to defend well. So in that sense, we've done really well.
So you think as well that having had these games, we will benefit at the end of the season from that. As the season progresses, we've learned a lot from them, and with better conditions, we'll be able to do a lot better.
Yeah, I do. I think last year we blew a lot of teams off the park and scored a lot of tries, which is what we always want to do. But there's a couple of big games towards the end of the year that were tight and gritty, and we didn't quite find a way to get across there. So in those 2 games, we had to find a way to win, which one gave us confidence that we can do that, and 2, just taught us to be a bit more patient in those games and wait and take our chances and things like that. And guys like Bevan that come up with big plays, he's pulled us out of the hat a couple of times now, and he can do that. He can do that. He's that type of player, and that's why he's here. But I think those lessons from those type of games, we learn more from that than say he can wait for about 60. That's what I'm trying to say.
Totally agree, and I think you get a lot more insight into the players, how they've got self-belief and looking out for teammates and being there for each other out on the field.
Yeah, definitely. Through the tougher times, you learn a lot more. Look at St. Helens, they went out for just grinding out wins, and that's what they've won 4 in a row, really. We've got some great talented players, but we can combine the 2 and have that defence and then have talented players, but then find ways to win in tight games, and I think it's definitely a step forward.
So Logan, you mentioned that kind of all came together more last week. How much did you enjoy the Battle of the Borough?
It was definitely good to watch. I think last week we spoke about being accurate with our passing, just nailing basically the basics really, and I think we did that, and when we do that, I think we saw what we can do. I think obviously Abbas and stuff coming into the squad, anyone who came in made a difference, and just to go over from the next man. I just think it's about taking that momentum into this week, another derby.
As a coach, Tommy, were you very pleased that they implemented, what you were looking for, what you were saying, we need to do this? Did they do the game plan justice?
I suppose as a coach, I'm new to coaching, but I wouldn't say it's like my game plan and you're going to do what I say. It's more our game plan and what we think works. And my way is trying to sort of help them learn and through my experiences and through watching clips. And so I wouldn't say it's like we done our game plan well. It was a combined effort. We grew as a team, I reckon, in the last 3 weeks from that Catalans game. And like Logan said, we got both sides of the ball right. We defended really well. And when we got chances, we executed. But I don't think we were a million miles off against Huddersfield or even Salford. But like Logan said before, when it sort of clicks, it clicks, and we'll take a lot of confidence into going into this week, which is most probably the biggest game of the year for us.
Did you feel sort of like, it felt like a mini derby, the build-up was quite good all through the week, and what did you both think of the atmosphere of the game?
Yeah, I think the atmosphere was really good. I think they do a great job there. You guys enjoyed it. It felt like a big game. But it's mostly, for them it feels like their derby, but we know our ones this week. We know this is our game, so I feel like they were really up for it. And we knew that. We tried to prepare the boys with that mindset that these guys, this is their biggest game, they really want to win it. I think deep down in our team, we knew that this week's was ours.
Logan, do you feel like they really gave it their all in the first half, Lee, and then was sort of running on low tanks in the second half?
Yeah, like Tommy said, I think he was saying it's probably their biggest game. If they can beat Wigan, and they didn't give a lot in that first half, and I think that's when the points come, when we ground out the win. It's not just about us throwing the ball about, and it's about us defending for 80 minutes, 60 minutes, and then breaking teams late in games. Just staying in that ground and then beating towards the back in the games.
So in the game we saw a lot of joy and eagerness on Matty's face. First try we saw a lot of joy and happiness on Derek Bowman's face. But at the end of the game we saw you smiling from ear to ear. Did it feel that good?
That's funny. I'm quite relaxed up there. Matty was quite happy. It deserved to be. It was a great game. We played some good football, but a little bit of a smile at the end. We had a little bit of a laugh up there, Matty. It was just good. I was happy to get a good performance against a good lead team that started the season really well. So it was a good performance.
So for both of you both sort of like, in some respects as far as the first team is concerned, you're sitting on the sidelines watching on Logan, and of course in coaching capacity. How difficult is it to watch, and how frustrating do you think if we do this, or if we did that, or if we'd done that? How frustrating do you get sat on the sidelines?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, because I played, you sort of had a say in how the game goes. Where I think as a coach now, once we've done the work during the week, it's pretty much open to them, which is how we want it. It's their team. They're the ones out there. We empower them to, all the leaders in our team to take control. So I sort of trust them that they'll get it done. It is a different way in terms of pretty much after tomorrow's session for us coaches. We're sort of stepping back now and we put all our trust in the team. All the hard work's done for us. And when I was on the other side, obviously it was the other way around. All the pressure was on us and was coming to it. So it is different, but I'm enjoying the challenge. I enjoy the new challenge and learning more.
Yeah, I think it's different for us non-players. When we're watching, just look on the gantry, you can see a lot more. You can when you're on the field. So, we're always talking about this and the other, but we've got the team where they can see and they can read where the game's going, and always confident in them.
Very good, very good. So you can both cope, you're not going home. That's a question I'd like to ask. When you go home at night, when I go home after a match, I can't come down to earth. I don't know if everybody else is saying it really, but you get like 2 o'clock in the morning and you're still watching the clock. Do you go home and just go to sleep? It's not a problem, or are you still playing the game, reading the game, thinking about the game?
I think when I play, after a game I'll do it, but when I watch them, I tend to try and switch off from rugby sometimes, not keeping my mind going on rugby all the time. Once the game's done, it's done. I can't change it. I can just go into training and try and change it from there.
What about you, Tommy?
Yeah, I think I'll be the same. It was hard when you played to come down after a game. Plus you were so sore for the game. I suppose coaching is a little bit easier. Still, there's a lot of thinking because you've got to plan for the next week and what we're going to do. But we generally have a decent chat after the game. And then once you do that, it's sort of nice. But that's why I sleep more after games now than I did when I was playing.
So on that, you touched on there about how it hurts the morning after physically. With coaching, does it hurt the morning after mentally?
Yeah, it's a different type of fatigue. I think it's more mental fatigue because you're obviously just thinking about what we could have done or what we need to do next. But there's so many other things, sessions, there's players on loan that you want to check up on. There's also just catching up with the lads and seeing how they are, and, how's it going. That's important too. It's not just about all the technical side, it's about having that relationship with the players. So yeah, it's a different type of fatigue. It's more mental fatigue than physical. So definitely.
So still talking about the players and like game plans and that, but last season certainly the players were told that if they saw an opportunity, that was worth taking, to take it, and there wouldn't be reproach on that. Is that still the same this year?
Yeah, 100%. I'd never tell a player not to do something if they see it. That's always been my philosophy. That's always how I like to be coached when I play. I try to empower them during the week, so they know what they're seeing and they can take those opportunities. But as soon as they cross the line, that's theirs, And I just trust them to go out there and play. The main thing is about enjoying it too. I feel like when you're enjoying your rugby, you see a lot more. You're more confident to go take those things. But there's definitely thing for many of our coaches, not just myself, about guys not taking opportunities. As long as they see it and they're clear what they're doing and people around them know, we're back in the play.
So Logan, very often you are quite off the cuff on playing, kick the balls through, follow through, that type of thing. Are you pleased that that's the situation here at Wigan, that you have got that freedom out there on the field?
Yeah, definitely. I think it suits a lot. I like to play rugby as well. I think it's good because we have a structure there we can always fall back to, but it's just about seeing and playing what's in front of you. And I think Tommy speaks about it all the time, giving flow state. So everything comes natural. You don't overthink stuff. You just see it and you pick it. And then if stuff goes wrong, you've always got the structure to fall back on.
And when it does go wrong, how do you feel out there on the field?
Just move on to your next job, really. Don't get hung up on stuff when you're playing, I don't think, as such. It's just like I was saying, there's a structure there to fall back to when stuff's not going well, or if you do something wrong, it's just about doing your next job.
Right, so now we'll get to the one that we're all here for, and all week we've thought about it. I said I don't sleep after a game, I have a job to sleep before this one. So just to say, how's the preparation gone this week?
I think it's gone really well, to be honest. Especially training today was pretty much as well as it could have gone, I think. Being on the other side, without having the first team running against you, it's pretty scary sometimes when you've got permanent people running at you. It's definitely hard to defend.
So you've been the opposition, haven't you? Which position have you played for St Helens this week?
I've been playing as Lewis Dodd this week, so but there was no one it's hard when we're training against the first team. Yeah, it's definitely sometimes you feel a bit sorry for other teams going into games. You're thinking when they're playing, you're running at you that fast and defending that well. So yeah.
And in your eyes, Tommy, how's the preparation gone?
Yeah, it's hard to comment. I've played in teams in games where you played really well, but they've gone out there and not performed. I've been the opposite, where you train terrible during the week and you've gone out there and played. But
what's it like to think that you're going to be playing in front of 24,000 fans?
I won't be playing, so feels a little bit different. Like I said, it's sort of gets to the point, like, all our work's done. When we come to the game, it's about little tip-ups here and there, and just making sure the boys are confident and really clear, but I feel like they are, so it's over to them really, and we put full trust in them to go out there and compete.
What do you see as the biggest hurdles to overcome?
The biggest hurdles in these games, the biggest hurdles are, I reckon, when things get tough and things aren't quite going to plan, it's the trusting that you can still stay in it and get the job done. That's what I feel like. These games are so intense. Sometimes one out carries, everyone's tired and we just got to kick, but or you make an error and you have to defend your line for a few sets. It's in those moments against especially against St. Helens, because they're such a good team, they put you on a lot of pressure. So it's not folding and hanging in. And I think the last few times we played them, we've done that. And the game's flowed, we've been in control, they've been in control. And the last couple of times, sort of broke out of that. And, I feel like that's what we need to do, and that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Is it Logan, sort of, we're talking first team playing Saints and the atmosphere around in the preparation week, is it just the same when you're at academy level or reserve level?
No, it's definitely a big step up this. It's all towns watching, both towns, so I mean, I'm sure you don't want to go home on Friday night after a loss, the same good sort of long was. I think it's the same for both towns and everyone here, that it's just about winning really at the end of the day. It don't really matter how you do it, I think, for people watching, but yeah, it'll be a tough game, but I'm sure it'll be good.
So Tommy, how have we gone on with our injuries? What plan have we got in place? Is it a good one?
Yeah, I hope so. We're looking, obviously, Joe's injured, a big loss. Fantastic player. Yeah, we've been handed at him on the weekend. But
We actually thought there was only Alex Walmsley injured according to the media.
I'm not too sure. I've seen the team. He's not in it, so he wouldn't be playing. But we've named the squad. I think we haven't finalised on who's really playing yet, the starting team, but we've named our squad and got a few things that we need to take over. But obviously, we, with the judiciary yesterday, didn't get a plan. It would have been nice to have him. Yeah, I think he brings a lot of presence to our team, and he's a great leader. But good, it's next guy up mentality, and we've got full confidence in him.
On the disciplinary, having watched how many reviews you have of Lee, can you really believe that 5 players were up for the disciplinary out of our team?
Yeah, honestly, it's like a lottery sometimes. These disciplinary. I think I understand the game, and I hope I do. But sometimes when I see charges, I feel like I don't even know what I'm watching. So it confuses me a lot of the time. I'll be honest, it does confuse me. But it's out of our control, so we can't do that. I've seen things that I think are not too bad, get charged, and then I've seen stuff that I think is shocking and don't even think. I think, oh, they're definitely going to miss a couple of weeks and then they're playing next week. So it baffles me sometimes, but like I said, it's out of our control, and I'm sure there's other clubs out there that feel the same as us. At the end of the day, we do have a job to protect each other. As a player, ex-player, we do that, but we try to do it in the right way. We won't play a physical game, but we also don't want to go out there and hurt each other on purpose. And I sort of didn't see that in any of those charges.
Well, I thought it was bad the other week. I don't think Morgan should have been punished the other week. When it comes to punishment and they get these fines, do the players have to pay that fine?
Yeah, they do. I think they got brought in this year, so yeah, it's always entertaining it without them losing games, but like everyone say, it's a hot topic in the change rooms and the boys aren't too happy, but it's the way it is.
Even when you think, oh, they shouldn't have been punished for that, it was nothing, do we still not pay it for them?
Not too sure though. No, I don't think they do. I think it's on the player. Yeah, I don't think they do. And I do feel sorry for players sometimes because we're asking them to go out there and be aggressive and do all these sort of things, and they might do exactly what we said, but people up there say it's you're charged and they're coming back and looking at you and told me to do that. I said, yeah, I'm not quite like that, but no, I don't think I want to too bad. Yeah, I do feel sorry for them. It's out of my control.
So coming to you, Logan, because of the injuries, some players are going to get the opportunity to play, some are going to get more game time. How, sort of when this happens to you, let's say at Hull KR when you got your opportunity, how much do you step up to the mark and how much of a challenge do you find it and how determined are you to put it out there in the hope of getting another game?
Yeah, I think all I can do is when I'm out on loan and training is put my hand up and myself forward. As Tommy said, it's that next thing, so all I can do is push and be in Tommy and Matty's head and give them a decision at the end of the week whether I'm playing or not. Obviously, it's hard at times when you're stood watching, and I'm still only young. I've only played 2 Super League games, so just about pushing for that next one.
Do you ever feel sorry for Abbas Miski? Last season he got 5 tries and didn't get picked week after. And I'm quite unsure is he being picked this week, Tommy? Can you just nod? You don't have to. But I think he busts the gut, that lad, when he gets his chance, and then it sort of gets right. He can go back to London now, or what have you. So, do you feel sorry for Abbas?
I feel sorry for all players that don't get the opportunity to play on the weekend. They put a lot of work in. All of them, Logan, all the guys that aren't playing, they work just as hard, if not harder, than the guys that are already in the team. But that's just the way it goes. It's, us as coaches. Chat about it, and maybe makes the final call on it. But it's something we speak about a lot. It's not easy, some of the decisions. We've got some really good young players. We've got a great squad, really. It's not an easy decision. It's not something we take lightly. But at the end of the day, I think we try and create an environment where everyone backs each other to do the job, and the next guy in. And as soon as the decision is made, it's all right, then how can we prepare everyone for the game?
So we've got quite a bit of versatility within the squad. They're adaptable on the field during the game if there's injuries, and of course playing out of position. There were choices last week where players were playing out of position. How good and beneficial is that for us?
Yeah, I think it's a big change in the game over the last few years. I reckon with the concussion rule and the HIA, you have to sort of plan your bench that you've got someone there that can cover a few positions. I think that role of the guy that can play on the bench and be able to play centre, back row, or jump in at 9 for a bit. Those players are really valuable. Most of them more valuable than they were, say, 6-7 years ago. The game's getting faster. Like I said, there's ball rules about players not coming back on and the HIA and all that stuff. So. Planning around that has made it quite tricky, but having that versatility, I think that if you have a player in your squad that can play a number of positions and do that very well, it's not very valued, I suppose, to the club.
When we get players, just touched on there, feigning injury, how much do you like this rule where they have to go off for 2 minutes?
Yeah, I really like it. I don't think it's happened too much, but I really like it. Some teams would use different tactics to slow down certain times in the game, and I think when you're going to have a guy come off for 2 minutes, it sort of put them off doing that. So I think it's a good rule. And I sort of knew as soon as the rule came in, you wouldn't see as many as you thought. I think straight away players were, I'm not going to lie right now, when it's come off. So yeah, I think it's a great rule. And, I think it'll work.
I don't think we've seen much of it with Blake Austin. He used to look like he'd been shot with elephant gun at time. Would you agree with that? I just snigger there. So, Logan, we'll ask you, because we're not put Tommy on the spot, but are we going to win on Friday? And how huge is our support going to be for getting those lads over the line?
Yeah, I think, you can't not be confident going into any game you're playing, thinking you're not going to win. So yeah, I definitely think we'll win. Also, I think it's almost a sellout now, so it'll be massive occasion. So yeah.
So Tommy, you said about going home with a headache. You're fortunate this year that you're coaching, but at least you don't have to prepare for Good Friday and then think about what team you're putting out on the Monday. How beneficial is that in the coaching circles?
That's beneficial for us, but more beneficial for the players. If you're asked to go play in the game, I suppose of the intensity that's going to be like on Friday night and then back up again on Monday, it's just not safe really. players is not safe at all. So I'm really glad that that's changed for the players. I wish it was a few years earlier, but I'm grateful that the players there put their bodies through that. And it definitely helps us as coaches, obviously. We're busy on the weekends reviewing games and praying for the next one. And I think when the next game is 2 days away, especially with the game we've got, the intensity and what it means in the town, we can't take our focus off this game until it's done, really. So, yeah, I think it's great.
So, just a little sneak look to the week after. It doesn't get any easier, does it? What are your thoughts, both of you, on the Wolves that we've got this year?
Yeah, I think they're playing really well. They've also done some great signings. Fantastic forward pack, and good for George Williams. I think he's playing some of the best rugby I've seen him play. So, I'm happy for him. He's a friend of mine, and he's playing really well. He looks really confident. He's playing off the back of a really strong pack, and they're going to be a tough challenge. But like I said, everyone just thought about that. This is really good. It's really about saying so. You saying it there as much as the first time I sort of thought about it. We'll get this game out the way and we'll review that, and then we'll get on with it.
Definitely. Okay, so I just want to ask a couple of questions about certain players. This is not that I want you to, get too personal, but it's just like when we play Wolves, we're going to have Toby King and Jake Wardle, who've both been to Wolves. How do you think their game's developing now that we're 7 games in?
Yeah, I think they've been great, both of them. They've added something to our squad. I think they've been fantastic. I thought last week Toby was outstanding. Just brings a different dimension to our backfield. Able to just carry the ball out, pretty much on his own, really, make meters. So, he's been great. And Jake's got some great talent. I think we sort of see the best of him yet. I think as soon as it dries up a bit, we'll really start to see what Jake Ward's all about.
So we'll ask you, Logan. I was particularly impressed in the forward line with Ethan Havard. I'd have liked him to get a try, he got close enough times. So what's your thoughts on how Ethan has progressed?
I think he started the season brilliantly. I think after games we speak about players who stood out, and Ethan's name's always one that pops up. I think sometimes it goes unnoticed what he does, but whenever you see him coming off the pitch, you can tell he's giving it his all.
And that's all we can ask. Coming back to you still on the forward, and we've got Liam Byrne coming back from injury. Had a very good game, I felt, at Leeds. But when you're coming back from injury, how difficult is it to have the confidence in your body? Once you get out there, are you a little bit, careful that you want to see how it goes, especially when you're in the front row?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Byrne is he missed a big chunk of pre-season with that injury. So he sort of come into the game. We knew he could do a job, but we knew he wouldn't be at his peak fitness. And I think last week we saw the games there, he slowly built his match fitness, but that comes from, I think he missed a big chunk of pre-season. He didn't do a lot of pre-season, so we always knew that, we'll get the Byrne that we got last year, but, he just took a bit of time, and I think last week he was outstanding.
Yeah, really good. And we'll come back to you, Logan. Harry Smith, the kicking game at Lee, how good was that?
That was another thing we spoke about. Harry nailed it pretty much bang on. I think, we kick a few times every morning, a week, and it's good to see that it's helping and benefiting us, and it's definitely a big asset to have Harry nailing them kicks and starting the sets where we won. As a player,
Harry's sort of like yourself, very young age and in the first team. But he gets a lot of stick on the goal kicking, which I feel anybody that was at Lee would see that none of those kicks were easy and none of them were a million miles away from the post. So when you read these sort of comments on social media, do you just ride over it, or does it have an effect?
No, especially Harry, he'll just laugh about it. Harry is very easy going. He loves to crack a joke, so it goes over Harry's head definitely, and I think, it's not going to affect how you play, I don't think. You don't need to think about it. I think the only opinions he needs to know is what his teammates think of him, and we're holding him very, very highly.
Have you ever had issues, Tommy, with social media where it has really upset players or affected them?
Yeah, I think it does. Some players, I think some players wouldn't like to admit it, but I think when you see stuff, and especially with social media these days, everyone's on their phone. I think it's a lot more. I suppose it affects players a lot more now than it would back when I first started playing. You didn't really hear about it. So yeah, I do think it affects some players, but it's part of the challenge now for players. Learning how to block stuff out. And, I was always quite cool, but younger in my career, I suppose it was quite tricky because you're always really unsure about a lot of things, and you want to know what people think, and when they say it, you don't quite like it. It's it's the way it goes. But we just try and encourage the boys to stay away from that as much as we can. Really, there's so many people talking on social media that you just got to pick a few people that you trust and roll with them and listen to their opinions and make sure that they're telling you the truth. And if they're telling you the truth, then just go with that.
Very good. And then just another player I want to just mention and see what you think is the joy of putting Bevan French at fullback. How good has that been for us in the last couple of games?
Yeah. Obviously putting Bev back there, he's jumped mid during the game. It's been a change that Manny's made, and we've seen the effect it's had. Last year, Jay had a tremendous year. He was a fullback, and Bev was on the wing, and we all sort of worked, but this year sort of hasn't, so we sort of made the change, and Bevan's a fantastic player. Not just a player, but a really good person too, so, he's, the boys love him, and more time we can get him on the board and get him playing and backing himself, the better team we are.
So just in closing, Logan, as Lewis Dodd, did you manage to catch Bevan French?
Definitely not.
Okay, can we give Tommy and Logan a big round of applause?